Good morning, everybody. This is the Made in Paradise podcast on Monday, June the 15th. And this is episode number 40. And I want to say before we get started, really proud of you two. 40 episodes in a row, 40 work days, really some incredible discipline. But more than that, most podcasts never make it to this level, right? Most of them die out at like episode 20. Only 1% make it to episode 40. And so, wow, congratulations. Thank you so much, you two. Incredible discipline, episode 40. Here we go. Darin, what do you got for us today?
Well, I got some questions for you and Anthony, and I think I'm going to start off with Anthony. So, Anthony, outside of John, who is the one person in your life that's changed everything for you before John came along?
Well, I would definitely say my mother, for all reason, because I think she guided me. She gave me all the lesson that I need to know in life. And then, of course, then I combine that with other lessons that I learned during my journey. But definitely I would say my mother.
Yeah, that's good. What about you, John? Besides Brooks, was there someone in your life that had significant meaning that really shaped who you are today?
Well, Brooks was my spiritual mentor, right? And so we have mentors in different areas of our lives. And I had a business mentor who was an auctioneer for a long time when I was young, and we did big auctions together, right? And so I'm talking about sometimes you'd have 1,000 people in attendance. And I worked for him doing all things, and we were partners together in several deals, and he was my business mentor. And so while Brooks taught me about life and living life and everything about our divine nature, my business mentor taught me really about business. And he's the one that said, just remember, never draw your gun unless you intend to shoot. And then if you do draw it, shoot between the eyes to kill, right? And so he had a whole bunch of colloquialisms, right? Just, you call them dichos, Anthony. We had a whole bunch of sayings like that, and I still remember, and Brooks had them too, right? But you remember those little catchphrases later in life.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony, was there someone who believed in you before you actually believed in yourself, and did you ever get to tell them what that really meant to you?
Wow, I would say a lot of people, because I was surrounded by really good people, and the issue is that I'm not an expressive person, right? So I even have that feeling that I didn't go back to them and say, you know what, thank you, because you believe in me even more than what I believe in myself. So yeah, there's quite a amount of people that they believe in me more than I.
Can you give an example of what that was? What was something that you didn't believe in yourself that someone convinced you that you see now that, wow, yeah, they were true? Do you have an example?
Yes, like for example, my sister, my youngest sister, she used to say to me, come on, you're capable to do whatever, right? Like, for example, I was learning to use, I don't even say that machine in English, but there's this machine where you could find, you could like refill the dump truck. How do you call it?
Oh, yeah.
Machine, right?
Yeah.
So
a backhoe, a cherry picker. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. So there's a lot of things going on. I'm like, I'm not capable. Definitely, I'm not capable. And she's like, come on, believe in yourself. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have this learned by less than a week. And that was true, right? I learned it. I can use it very well. So yeah, definitely, my sister helped me a lot with that believe in me.
That's great. That's great. John, has anyone ever completely changed your mind about something, and that someone that you least expected it from that shocked you?
I think that happens a lot, because I think I try to maintain an open spirit, right? To listen, because if we don't have an open spirit, we don't listen and we don't learn. I can't think of a specific instance in this particular moment, but I think that it just happens a lot. I'm open to be wrong all the time. You don't learn if you're not open to be wrong. If you don't realize that you're ignorant in some area, you're never going to learn anything. And you guys know that if you ask me something and I don't know anything about it, I just say, no. And with that attitude, you can completely change. And, before the podcast, we were talking about the Seth books and how Seth talks about us living our incarnations at the same time, because on the other side, time doesn't exist. And that's something that I had never, ever considered before. I don't even recall hearing it before. But when I heard it and I heard his explanation of it, yeah, I just changed. I just went into it and said, yeah, this seems to make sense. So I think that's across my journey happened a lot. And, leaving the church, as I was an evangelical pastor and my first wife died, and that really just shifted my entire worldview. And when that worldview started to shift, I made a massive amount of changes that most people will never make. And I've evolved dramatically every decade of my life.
Right. And I think that's something that a lot of people are struggling with today. Is a lot of people are very closed-minded. And I think that because they close their mind, it shuts a lot of opportunities away from them. So, Anthony, have you ever had a complete stranger ever tell you something, maybe just something that, you still carry with you today that just shocked you?
Well, yes, I was working at the supermarket. That was in the beginning, probably 8-9 years ago. And I had a situation with two customers, right? And this man, he was completely right? He was fighting with something that he was wrong. So the bottom line is that once she walked out, I had this conversation with this man, and I said to him, "But why you didn't fight for your right?" And he said, I'd rather have peace than be right." And then I said, "Oh, hell." So then he said, "If you go through life trying to fight, you will be under stress." You see, she left. I'm in peace. We could have this conversation, and from that day, I had that in my mind. I rather have peace than be right. So definitely
that's good. That's good, because I had a pastor tell me almost the same thing in the same situation. He said, "John, always remember, it's better to be in relationship than to be right." And I think there's a stigma in our society about being wrong. Like we feel guilty or lesser if we're wrong or we don't know. So you ask someone something they don't know and they're very uncomfortable. It's like, I don't know. And I've just learned that there is no penalty to saying I don't know. And Brooke taught me, he said, "John, you need to remember the difference between confidence and arrogance. If you know something, be confident. And if you don't know something, shut your mouth. Because if you open your mouth about something that you don't know about, it's simply arrogance." And he was absolutely right. And as I'm along in life and just say, I'm wrong. It's so easy. It's easy to apologize. And once I learned to apologize easily, I stopped doing things I had to apologize for.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Better to be in relationship than to be right. Absolutely agree.
Yeah. And honestly, if I'm ever wrong on anything, I always say the same thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you're right.
But the thing is not to cut your feet out from under you if you're confident about something, right?
Right.
If someone came to you today and starts into about international shipping and shipping containers, and you know something, right? You can say that without emotion in a neutral way. And if they continue to disagree, just let them be right. It's fine. The truth always comes out one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Anthony, what's something you know today that you wish someone had told you 10 years ago?
Oh, that we are creating our reality. I wish I had known that before. I mean, that information, that piece of information that we are designing our reality. If I knew that before, probably the path would be different. So I would
is
say
that like the actions that you're doing or the thoughts that you're doing that's creating the reality?
I would say the thoughts, because back in the time, I have like an idea, because all these people have been saying things related to that, but you are like, you don't believe because I was in church, right? And I'm not blaming any religion feelings or thinking, whatever. I'm just saying that I was in church and I was following all this procedure, all these rules and all this. So when you're in church, they probably, let's say it this way, they're giving you what they want you to think on, right? You're going to think on this, you're going to think on this, you're going to think on this. So I didn't have my own thoughts. I was allowing other people to put some thoughts on me, and I wasn't controlling it at all. So I would say that definitely.
That's good. Is there a person in your life right now that you don't thank enough, that you wish that you can say thank you to? I think
His
we brought
wife.
this up before on
His wife for
Right.
sure. His extremely patient wife. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to. Go ahead, Andy. I'm sorry.
No, I would say my mother probably. My mother.
Your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, John. Who in your life has made you become a better person look so easy that inspired you to be better?
I say some of the guys that have been my trainers in the past, right? Because I've struggled with weight and losing weight and gaining weight and whatever and being in the gym. And I remember when you said that, I remember a trainer that I had named Damon back in Louisiana years ago when I still weighed over 400 pounds, right? And he was a volunteer fireman, and he was much shorter than me, but just one muscle, right? I mean, just completely one muscle. And he just put a lot of time in me and teaching me how to work out. And I lost a massive amount of weight at that time and gained a lot of strength. And so from a physical side, I would say that's what came to mind for your question.
Was he a brutal instructor, or was he more of on the lenient side? I mean, there's people that like different kind of techniques of how they're being taught what they're doing. Was he more on, no, John, get your ass up, let's move kind of guy?
I mean, he pushed me some, but I wouldn't say that he was the most pushy trainer I ever had. I won't say that, but he spent time training my body and I spent time training his mind. So it was a very, very reciprocal relationship, right? We were having a conversation while we're actually about God and life and all of those things. And you two know how I am, right? I mean, if I get close to somebody, I start trying to teach them something.
Right, exactly. I think that concludes my subject for the day. Anthony, do you have anything?
Yes, because John picked on me talking about my wife. So let me ask you guys this. Obviously, speaking about who changed our life, I'm sure our partners are included in this story. So let me ask you both. What important life lesson have you learned simply by observing their behavior? In John's case, would be his wife, Adriana, and in Darin's scenario would be his girlfriend, Xiomara.
Go ahead, Darin.
I think for me, it's a lot more of attention to details on a lot of things. And so I've always been, I pay attention to things, but she's a lot more in detail about what you say, how you're spending your time, everything. And I think that's something that she's taught me greatly on. What about you?
For me, it's the love that she puts into the food, because she's a chef and I'm always watching her do the food and always watch her prepare the food, sometimes for a lot of people, sometimes just for us. But she puts the same intensity of love into her cooking. And at one time I took her, she's Costa Rican, and I took her to 14 different US states in less than a year and a half. And we ate at a whole bunch of restaurants I love. And I would say, like, I love this guacamole and I love these tacos and I love these sandwiches. And today, a lot of my favorite foods in the world, remember, said, what's your favorite sandwich? My favorite sandwich is at my house. My favorite gallo pinto is at my house. My favorite burrito is at my house, right? And yeah, I can eat one outside, but I'm always comparing it to what Adri makes, right? But it's the love, which is attention, right? Presence that she puts into the food that, she washes the lettuce before which is, for example, like I had never watched it. I pull the outside lettuce off, pull some lettuce and put it on there. She's going to wash each piece of the lettuce. I mean, she's very meticulous about cooking, and I admire that about her.
Right. So
I don't mean to jump in, but I'm pretty sure Gordon Ramsay, I watched an episode where Gordon Ramsay went off, and maybe she watched the same episode, but he went off on some guy because he didn't wash every piece of lettuce. He started cussing at this I don't know, guy starting off, and he's like, what are you doing? You got to take each one off and you got to wash it in a lot more gruesome manner.
Yeah.
Right. So let's start with Darin again. So how has your view of the future and of family changed since you've been with her?
Oh man, it has changed completely, because I mean, I was young. I didn't think of having kids at the moment. I didn't think of, what my future was going to be like. I was living a very, I don't know, by myself, lone, solitary life. And so now that I'm with her, I'm, you know, building a house, we're thinking of kids, we're, you know, planning our future together. And so, I mean, it's changed completely on how I'm viewing my future entirely.
What about you, John?
You're saying how do I look at the future differently?
Right.
Well, there's a big age difference between the two of us, so I think about her future security and what she'll do after I'm gone, right? So I think about that. That's changed dramatically. You care about a person in the future. I care about you two. What happens to you in the future once I'm gone, because of the age difference. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
So, okay, Darin, in what ways do you feel you are more mature man today compared to when you met her? And you said, definitely, I became a more mature man since I met her because this or that.
Well, I would say the partying has, I mean, I wouldn't say that I partied a bunch, but, you know, I mean, I did enjoy going out and, you know, trying to, I guess, meet new people was kind of the thing. And I think that's kind of since slowed down quite a bit. And obviously the way that I talk and everything, I mean, I'm with her all the time. So I think that's changed completely about me and just how mature I am.
What about you, Anthony?
Yeah.
I'm the one who making the question. What's that?
We don't have a rule book. We don't have a rule book. We don't have a rule book. Tell me what's your answer.
Definitely, because I started with Kendry, there was 19 years almost, right? So once she's yeah, that's right. It was a long time. So I think having kids with her and realizing that, like Darin said, there's no party. I wasn't a party man, but I used to have friends. I used to go and play soccer and spend more time with my friend than with her. So in that moment, you decide, no, wait a minute. This time it's for family, right? So I think choosing and going to play soccer or surfing or be with my family, that decision made me a more mature man. So for both of you, what version of yourself do you think would exist today if she had never been part of your life? You can start with John.
Go ahead, John.
I mean, I've pretty much been married most of my life. I got married the first time at 19. And so I got to be married to somebody else, and maybe I have gone in a different direction. But I mean, I think a lot of things would be different because you're talking about an individual person. But Adriana and I click very well. We look at the world in a very similar way. And so I was very picky after my second marriage and who I was looking for. I think I'd have found somebody else and I'd have gone on and lived a similar life because, you know, somebody has to really kind of adopt to my lifestyle. It's not like I'm adopting to somebody else's lifestyle. I mean, it's got to be someone, for me to be with somebody has to be someone who is metaphysically inclined. But I would say that being with Adri has pushed me more in that direction because she was open to it. And a lot of people would not have been open to metaphysical exploration the way that she was. A lot of people are set in their religion and whatever there is, and this is it, and here's the rules, and this is it. And I wouldn't be able to be with that type of person, but Adri's been very open-minded just to change and to adapt her philosophy as she's grown spiritually.
Right. Darin?
I think for me, well, we're building a house right now, and where we're building the house, you're in the mountains. And so if I didn't meet her or we weren't together, I think I'd be living in a completely different place. And I'd still choose Costa Rica, but I don't think I'd be in the mountains where I'm at right now. I'd probably be renting a place somewhere in Heredia or maybe even in Guanacaste.
I mean, it's just hard to say. It's just so hard to say, Anthony. I mean, your trajectory of 14 years ago, and now I'm a different person today, right? I'm just an utterly different person. So is Sparky. I mean, both you are too, Anthony. I mean, you're a completely different person than when I met you. You're
Right.
just, I mean, very little of who you are is the same as when we met. So it's very hard to predict. Oh, well, my life would have done this or my life would have done this, because I've always been the guy that, you know, like the Gallant's deal with the 21,000 refrigerators. I heard about it. We got it working. We just went, right? And I sent Darin, but my whole life I've just gotten up and said, okay, well, let's just go do that. Like the Panama deal. Okay, let's go do that. And so I think that I wouldn't have settled down as much if I hadn't found Adri, right? I'd have just still been out there hustling the business.
Hustling.
Okay,
I'm curious though, Anthony, because you obviously wrote that question. You must have thought of a response to that question. Where do you think you would be?
Yeah, because it's been 19 years, right? So you got
19 years,
really early with Kendry. Where would you be if you'd never met Kendry?
I felt like I would be probably a soccer player because I had the opportunity and I choose not because of my first child, which is Nara, because I knew that if I said yes, I would have less time to see her and all that, and we'd be traveling, whatever. So I had the opportunity and I said no, because in the beginning, there's my sister's husband. He offered me to like put me in a I don't know you call it exactly in English, but it's a school where you are permanently in that school. You can see your family probably one time a month or something like that. And I no, I'm not. So I would say
this was a soccer school. It was a soccer school.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But there in Limon?
No. It was in San Jose. I was living in Limon, right? So I'm like, San Jose. I'm not gonna see my family. No, thank you, but no.
Huh.
So, last question. What is one lesson you were given that didn't help at all?
One lesson that I was given that didn't help at all. I would have to say probably back in school when they were saying that you have to go to the university, you have to do this, you got to have good SAT scores, you got to, I mean, there's multiple things that people were really trying to like pressure me into doing that when it comes to like the educational system. That, I mean, I don't see how that really had any meaning to it. I mean, I'm sure if I did do something, maybe my life would be different, but it didn't affect me that greatly.
All right. What about you, John?
I think when I was a child, them teaching me that God punishes you and will put you in hell if you don't follow the rules. I think that has been the single most destructive idea. That it took me decades to get over that, right? To get over the idea that God was going to punish me somehow. And that idea it's just a horrible one. If I could erase one idea from the world, that would be the one that God punishes or has a place of eternal punishment. So, all right, guys.
On my side.
This has been the Made in Paradise podcast. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard today, we do this every week, Monday through Friday. Please like and subscribe. We would love to hear from you. If you've got a question you'd like us to discuss or answer, leave that in the comments and we'll talk about that. The Made in Paradise podcast has a sponsor, and it also happens to be us. And our company is called Proven Performer. And we do big closeout deals in a lot of different categories. And every day we try to come up with a new deal to tell you about. Just so you know about Proven Performer, we don't get in the middle of the transaction. We just act like a manufacturer's rep. So we offer the product, and if you find a product that you want to buy, we connect you directly with a manufacturer. You pay them directly, and they pay us a commission. And so right now, we're going to switch over to our sponsor time, and we're going to talk about a brand new deal. And this brand new deal comes from Honeywell. And Honeywell is a name you've heard of. It's placed in all the major retailers nationwide in the United States and worldwide. This deal from Honeywell features all new first quality product that's assorted at 3,249 units on this load, $150,000 retail value. The average retail unit, $46.29. It's 24 pallets. It's a full truckload. Again, completely brand new. X-Works, Georgia. Your price, $31,000, about 20 cents on the dollar. Really a great deal for Honeywell, made by Helen of Troy. If you are interested in this completely manifested, please reach out to one of us at the phone numbers below on WhatsApp or via email. We'll be happy to provide this manifest to you. For Darin Finkelton and Anthony Ferguson, and I'm John Clark. Thanks for listening. It's been the Made in Paradise podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow.